Thanks, Irene. At the Suzuki Foundation, we have been inspired by climate leadership. It's really great to hear Minister Heyman talk about bending that trajectory down. I'm going to apologize in advance. I am I've got tons of hay fever, so if I start sneezing, but what it did remind me of was like the trade-off, like these beautiful cherry blossoms and the crazy hay fever, and then all the trade-offs that you guys face in climate action and all of the other priorities, affordability, housing, equity, human rights, all of the things that you undertake. So I have to say that you guys also inspire us. The big cities for sure are taking action, but also places like Victoria, Saanich, Saskatoon, and Guelph, and Edmonton. It really is something to see when you're making all those trade-offs and taking really meaningful action. A month ago, we launched a new project called Charged Up at the David Suzuki Foundation, and through Charged Up, we want to work with communities to accelerate the transition to renewable energy that we all need. For us, the renewable community movement is an opportunity to put the power to generate power and to manage energy more efficiently in the hands of people across the country. It's about energy diversification, greater efficiency, new jobs, and climate protection. When we were scoping the project, we commissioned some polling, and we found that 70% of Canadians favor a quick transition to renewable energy, and that is fairly consistent across all provinces. Renewable energy is the most exciting climate solution to people in Canada, so the level of support for climate solutions, other climate solutions, like even the Pan-Canadian Framework, is about 33%. And this support for renewable energy is something that has support across political stripes, which is really important that we can actually talk to all people. So now when we did some surveys of our own community, so the David Suzuki Foundation's own community, we put out a request to answer a survey. I think 9,000 people answered. It was a pretty lengthy survey. And we found that 98% of our community supports the quick transition to renewable energy, which is probably not surprising. But what was surprising to us was that when we asked them to name a single renewable energy project, 90% of our community couldn't do it. And there are thousands of projects now across the country. So what that meant to us was that renewable energy is still a distant and irrelevant concept to most people's daily lives. And in fact, when we drilled down further in the survey, energy itself is not a priority in people's day-to-day lives. The good news is that people told us that they want to learn more, and they're really the seed for this Charged Up project. Through the work of the Suzuki, so David, Tara, Sarika, and Severin, and my colleagues at the foundation, we're lucky enough to reach a large number of Canadians, I think almost 1 million a week in English and French. And we've also, as we were scoping the project, we talked to 150 people, many of you in the room, and we're hoping to talk to many more. So in local government and in the renewable sector and other industries, environmental groups, community leaders, labor groups, financial institutions, and grassroots organizations, and we've gotten a lot of great advice. Many people told us that there are a lot of groups working on research, policy advocacy, and direct government relations, super important work, especially now. And there are a lot of groups who are really looking to hold the line on understanding the impacts of new energy projects with high GHG impacts, also super important. But what you told us, or what many people told us, is that there are not very many groups trying to move the public, like working with communities, to move the public to transition to low carbon communities, something that we all need. And that's where Charged Up comes in. We want to work with all of you to tell the stories of community, regular people taking extraordinary actions to lead on renewable energy and energy efficiency. So if you have stories that you think we should tell, stories that put a face to good policy, good policy that enables things to happen in communities, we would love to tell those stories. Please come and find us online or here. We want to help more communities become active producers of energy, not just passive ratepayers or consumers. We want them to to help people become engaged in shaping their energy systems on efficiency as well as production. We want to build like a strong connected network of renewable community champions who want to see more action on the ground to work with all of you and who want to participate at the structural level. So we know that we can't do this alone, and we want to help build that collective momentum. We look forward to talking to all of you and hope that you will continue a conversation with us. I just wanted to say that one of the things that's really inspired us at the David Suzuki Foundation is the Indigenous leadership on renewable energy and the energy transition. And we were fortunate enough to be inspired by the Skidegate band and some of the work that they've undertaken. And I think it would be probably a great place to stop and turn it over to Bob Stevens to hear more. Thank you.
Not only a great presentation, but a segue into the next one. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Bev Stevens from the Skidegate Council. She is the Chief Administrative Officer for that council. Also want to recognize that David Crosby, a councillor from Skidegate, is here, just newly re-elected, so congratulations. And welcome up, Bev. We look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you. Haudagalahis, good people. I come from Skidegate on Haida Gwaii. The island is 500 miles north of Vancouver Island and 100 miles off the coast of Prince Rupert. The population of Skidegate is 900 people. We have 360 homes in our community. Our community is run by the Skidegate Band Council, who is a very forward-thinking council. And in Haida, there's a word for helping with your presence, and that's what David Crosby, council member, is doing for me today. Thank you, David. I want to start by sharing with you Haida law. Respect. All acts must be done with respect. Make it right. If anything hasn't been done right, the person who did it must make it right. Everything depends on everything else. And when we talk about climate change and we talk about making the world a better place, it's up to each one of us, no matter where we live. We're the ones that can make the change. It's up to us to make sure that the Mother Earth is respected and that she's well taken care of. Our small community, I'm proud to say, is doing their part in this. We started out with a heat pump project where we installed heat pumps in every home in our community except 2 people who didn't want them, because everybody used fuel furnaces, electric heat, and some of them used wood for their heating. On Haida Gwaii, 65% of the electricity comes from diesel, 10 million liters. With the heat pump project, it has made a huge difference in the electricity that is used in each home. We're training people in every avenue that we do energy efficiency, and we're training our community, guiding them to how to use their electricity and how to downsize their usage. With solar, our first project was the product of all the CAOs on Haida Gwaii. They meet once every 2 months, and funding came available for the whole of Haida Gwaii. So any community that wanted to do one building in their community, all they had to do was say yes. And I'm really pleased that our council said yes, and we had our George Brown Rec Center solared up. And then the next project was our Haida Heritage Center at Kayomagai. It was a project that was supported by INAC and supported by BC Hydro and supported by our Gwaii Trust. And the last building that has been solared up is our youth center. It was a product of Swilaweed, who is an energy, I'm lost for words. They look at energy on Haida Gwaii and try to figure out how they can help in a little way. So we were thankful to have our youth center solared up by them. BC Hydro has helped our whole community in their ECAP program, Energy Conservation Assistance, and it helps. They've never done a whole community before, but they did Skidegate and Bella Bella, where they use caulking to cover up the holes in the doorways, and they changed the light bulbs and all kinds of little things that make a huge difference in the usage of power in each home. So we're training our people to install these, and we're about a quarter of the way through. We're running into problems because we're such a small island and supplies are not the easiest thing to get on Haida Gwaii. The next project Skidegate is going to do is to fit every home with solar roofing. And we're in the process of doing a feasibility study to see where the roofs are facing and if the solar can be installed on the roof or if we need a small energy field beside the home. And the only way we could do this in conversation with BC Hydro was if we put battery packs on the way home, so that we're not reliant on hydro. Skidegate has been meeting with a new partner. Watch for our official announcement. It's going to reduce diesel immensely on Haida Gwaii. And as I said, our goal is to leave less of an impact on Mother Earth. Oh, thank you.